troublemaker.
All people come here for the same.
Yeah. So this is where you start off. When you come back, if you come back and you talk to these ladies, they'll give you 6 effigies. So if you run out of effigies, you know you can come back and do that. There's also one up here that you can start off with. I highly recommend going and getting that. And now we start our adventure. Light the bonfire. Grab this guy back here. Torches are not extremely important. You can light these if you want. It doesn't really do anything. And this is your tutorial area. So the one thing that we are going to do right now is kick down that ladder. So the birds are up there. And I'll show you what I mean. So you can go through here and you can read these and it tells you, you know, how to do everything. We all also going to parry. So if you hit to parry, oops, if I can do it right. And my riposte timing was off, but you can parry, knock people down, knock your enemies down on their butts, and then you get a free attack basically. So we're going to try that again. You have to be close though. Oops. Okay, one more time. Oh my god. Right. Whoops, too soon. Right now. Damn it. Okay, right now. There we go. And there's a riposte animation. Does a lot of damage when you do it. Each enemy has different timing. So this right here, this life gem. Oh well, here we go. We're going to backstab this guy. So both the riposte and the backstabs are both critical hits. So you do a lot more damage with criticals, obviously. This life gem is a healing, so you'll see what I mean. I crack it, and then your life starts to go up gradually. Grab this little thing, dagger. So I'm actually going to see if the dagger does more damage than this stupid broken straight sword. I don't think it's going to. Nope. Do you see when I'm swinging, the stamina bar goes down? And once that runs out, you know, the biggest mistake that people that just start playing this game do is you swing and swing and swing until you don't have any stamina left. You just keep mashing the button. This game is not a button masher. You really have to... Oops, that's not what I want to do. You really have to fight like you would in real life. Otherwise you're going to die. Because if you just button mash... And he just guard braked me. That right there, that's a guard break. So if you're standing there with your shield up, like this, enemies will do that to you. Now I can't do anything. Now he can go and do a critical hit on me. So in Dark Souls 1, you could do what's called turtling. Just hide behind your shield and never let it up. And do this continuously. They made it difficult for you to do that in Dark Souls 2. So even enemies can, they will parry you, they will guard break you. So right here, this little nest guy, when we come back, you'll actually, oh, never mind. So if you have one of these things in your inventory, I'm going to get in here, so we're going to drop it in the nest. So if you have one of these smooth and silky stones in your inventory, you'll hear that voice, and she's asking you to drop the stone. So we're going to go ahead and leave it. So when you put it in there, oh, that's so irritating. when you put in Dark Souls 1, when you put it in there, you actually had to go back to a bonfire and, you know, reset the area. Oh my god, shut up. You had to go back and reset the bonfire. You don't have to do that anymore. So the minute you drop it, it changes into an item. So we're going to pick this up, and it's a Titanite shard. Sweet. So Titanite shards you use... Oh, whoops. Nope. Go over here. Titanite shards you use to upgrade your weapons. And these, okay, so these souls... So the number down there, the 260 in the bottom right-hand corner, that's how many souls I have. So each time you kill an enemy, you get souls. Souls are the currency of Dark Souls. So these souls right here, if I die, they're gone. If I can get back to where I died, there'll be a little green, glowy blood stain. And if I can go and recover that, I can recover the souls that I've lost. If I die before I get there, they're gone for good. So these are soft souls. However, these are hard souls. So if I use these, it'll give me a set amount. So the different souls, I think this one is 200, Soul of Lost Undead. Soul Name of the Soldier, I believe, is 400? Or Large Soul of Lost Undead is 400. I can't remember. But if you use them, 800 souls. So there you go. Yeah, you don't really want to use these like that, the hard souls, until you are ready to spend them. Because if I die right now, I'm going to lose it, and that's 800 souls that I just lost. The other reason you don't really want to do this, unless you want your soul memory up. So this is another difference between Dark Souls 1 and Dark Souls 2. Player stats right here. So you see, upper right-hand corner, level 12. It's my starting level. Right to the right of that, the 1060, that's how many souls I have, my soft soul count. To the right, the arrow, that 901, that's how many souls it's going to take for me to level up. And that increases. The higher your level, the more souls it takes. My main character, I think it takes something like 350,000 for me to level up now, maybe more. And on the far right, 1060, that's your soul memory. So your soul memory is how many souls you've collected throughout your entire playthrough of the game. Now, in order to co-op and New Game, before you beat the game and go on to New Game Plus, in order to co-op, it looks at two things, your current level and your soul memory. So I don't know if they're going to change this. There's a patch coming out on Friday, I believe. Yeah, on Friday. But right now it's a percentage, and I believe it's 10% of your level and your soul level. So if my level was 12 and my soul memory was 1 million, it's going to be really hard for me to find somebody to co-op with. Because it's going to search for somebody who's about in your percentage of both of those things. And New Game Plus, it doesn't really rely on that a whole lot. The range is way larger. So if you want to co-op, try to keep your soul memory and your soul level about, where they should be. So if you are an intelligence or a pyromancy or a cleric build using your miracles, you want to go down here. I mean, it's worthwhile to go down here anyway. But this is where you're going to find a morning star and your chime. So you need to chime in order to cast miracles. And we'll go over that later. But here's the more important thing, binoculars. So I don't know how I got all the way through Dark Souls 1 and all the way into New Game Plus of Dark Souls 2 before even knowing this. But binoculars are what you use to cast spells from a distance. So I'll show you at some point later, but you equip your binoculars here. So anything in the middle right here, that's where you're going to hit. So you can actually throw far away. So, and I'll show you what I mean right now, actually. So when you lock on a target, you have to be fairly close to lock on a target. And if you're a spellcaster, you need to lock. Otherwise, if you just, you're throwing willy-nilly and it's going to go wherever the hell it wants. Oh, yeah, go over here and do this. So to lock, you got little piggies over here. That's how you lock. So I'm locked on. Now I'm going to hit, and she's going to go to this. You know, I'm going to roll away. I'm going to roll to the side, but she's always going to be facing this lock. I can change the lock to these different enemies, but you want to be locked. So if I was a spellcaster, it's going to go to wherever you're locked. But what happens, you know, I can't lock from here. Oh, I can lock from here, but you have to be fairly far away or fairly close to lock. But what happens if you want to shoot things like, you know, shoot an arrow at somebody from afar so you can snipe them? Sitting at a bonfire is going to reset those enemies. So now they're going to go away. They'll go back to where they were. Sometimes if enemies are too close, you can't rest at the bonfire. It'll tell you can't rest at bonfire. So bonfires, this is what increases your, like, it sets all of your health and resets all of your spells, usages, and all of that back to normal, but it also respawns all of your enemies. So careful when you use that thing. So we'll go over here, talk to this lady.
Are you, then, or merely a pawn, bearer of the curse? I will remain by your... Take this with you.
So this is what we use to heal ourselves.
Go on and see the king. He who made Drang King Vendry.
She's also who you come to level up, so we're going to do that right now.
For misery you will never... Seek their soul once you have found, so that hope will not. Is that a show? Here, to see light, however faint.
So that shard we just picked up in the well, it allows you to get more sips from your Estus. So it starts off with 1. Each shard you find gives you 1 extra sip. So now I have 2 sips of my Estus. I'm going to... And we're going to go with a... let's see. I'm going to go with endurance first. So we're going to do a faith strength build. Faith, you can see here as you move, it shows you, you know, what things it affects. So even though I've added 1 to it, and there's only 1 or 2 things that have changed, you know, my lightning base and my lightning defense, the more you add, like eventually, when you get up to a certain level, you know, it'll add to cast, it'll add to fire, it'll add to dark. Intelligence directly affects magic and fire. Adaptability, see, gives you poison, bleed, petrify, curse resistance, agility, and poise. For those who don't know, poise determines how many times you can be hit before you guard break. Dexterity, obviously, is dexterity. Strength. So everything you do will give you a little bit of HP. If you see, like, this gives me 2 HP, but if you actually add to HP, it'll give you a lot. So I'm going to start off with endurance, because endurance, yeah, you need to be able to have enough stamina to actually hit stuff. Endurance in some ways is more important than health. So I'm going to equip my Estus. So I'm going to equip both of them. You talk to this guy who's a blacksmith. He's not going to be able to get in yet. We have to go buy a key from a merchant.
Just help me open this door. I packed my someone else.
We will get that shortly. And if you, there's a guy up here, so Dark Souls has covenants, and different covenants do different things. This guy, if you talk to him, you can join the covenant called the Way of the Blue, which will summon somebody. When and if you get invaded, it'll summon somebody in the Blue Sentinel Covenant to come fight by your side, so it's not just a one-on-one fight. This is also where you can look at the world death count. That's a lot of deaths. People die a lot in this game. It's fun to go back and check that occasionally. So this is the main town, Majula, which you will be in quite a bit. We're going to go over here and grab this thingamajigger. Roll to break those. When you are in a covenant, this cat...
And one without just about ready. Not exact. Well, oh yeah. So, ooh.
This cat is who you want to go to if you want to change covenants. If you abandon your covenant without coming here first, it's a sin. And if you're a sinner, it means you would get invaded more often. There's all sorts of stuff. It's going to cost you a lot more souls to... Well, you can absolve yourself of sin, but it's going to cost you souls, and your souls are directly counted by what your level is. I think it's 1,000 souls per level. So if you're 180, it's going to cost you 180,000 souls. So sinning also is things like invading other players, killing any NPCs, innocent NPCs, that sort of thing. So you can also see what you're in. You can buy items. Eventually we are going to need this silver cat ring to get down the hole that we just passed. This will helps if you're fighting with an NPC, summon an NPC to fight with you. Your enemies will focus really heavily on the NPC, which is helpful when and if you want a distraction, so then you're free to, attack the boss. However, there are achievements where you have to get NPCs through boss battles alive. Wearing this will make the boss focus on you instead of the NPC, which makes it more likely that you'll actually get through that boss battle with your NPC alive. This ring helps you... it's a co-op item, so if you're trying to meet up with friends, which is really difficult to do in Dark Souls 1, because the chances of your friend's sign being shown when you're trying to summon somebody... it was difficult, let's just say that. This allows you to not see any signs except for people wearing the name engraved ring. So there are multiple gods that you can choose from, and you basically just talk to your friends, say, hey, name engraved ring, God of Bliss. And you both put on the God of Bliss ring, and then everybody else's signs, except for people wearing that ring and that god, will disappear, and you're more likely to find your friend. It also requires invaders to actually be wearing the ring. So if you're wearing the ring in a god, you're less likely to be invaded, because they have to be wearing the ring of that god in order to find your world. This ring will come in handy. So you need to have this ring in order to talk to the Scorpion Man, which will be later on in the game. But in case you don't get that far, there's a little piece of wisdom. So if you have this ring on, you can talk to the guy, and then you can summon him for the fight for the Scorpion Queen.
Nothing.
We're not going to go over there yet. So we're going to go down there eventually, but that fall is pretty far. And if you fall right now, try to jump down there, you'll die. And here's a merchant who sells stuff.
Hello there.
So this guy starts off with a really small stock, but the more you spend, the more stock he'll get. I believe the first tier is 10,000 souls? 6,000 souls? 10,000 souls? Somewhere around there. If you spend that amount, as you kill bosses, you'll be able to buy their boss armor, but you have to actually spend money with him first. So you'll spend... Shut up. You know that you'll spend enough because he'll move off the floor and he'll move to this little bench right here. And then when you spend even more, he'll eventually move from this bench to over here and sitting on this little guy. And then he'll have all the stock available. A different stock becomes available in New Game Plus and New Game Plus Plus as well. We can go over here. And there's a chest up here. We can get this Tynite Shard, which will help us upgrade our weapons when we finally get that blacksmith shop opened. Okay, so from here you can go to a few different areas. If you're feeling wily, you can go this way. Oh yeah, one more thing. You can grab this back here. This will be the covenant. Sorry, this covenant right here, if you want to do this. This is the Covenant of Champions. So what this does is makes the game twice as hard. So it's like being in New Game Plus immediately. You'll get more souls and all of that. It also turns off summons, but allows you to be invaded. So you're not going to be able to summon any help, but you'll still get invaders. I don't know what you get for level 1, 2, 3 of the Covenant, but I'm not sure how you get the Awe Stones either. But you offer, when you get Awe Stones, you offer it to him, and eventually you end up with a ring that gives your bare fists way more power. So that's for people that want to be pretty hardcore. We'll be going over here eventually. We're not quite to the level that we need to be yet to go that way. There's also something that's up here before we go back to where we came from, the things betwixt, which we would get to if we go that way. There's this over here, which we will not be able to go through this area until we have something called the Fragrant Branch of Yore, which I call the Stick of Truth, because it makes me laugh. And making me rough. But I'm ready to show you anyway. Because there's this that we can get right here. So we need to go through here, but this chick is petrified, and we need a branch in order to unpetrify her so we can pull that out to open the door. This is an NPC that has a storyline that you can follow to get his sword and all of his equipment. And for those of you who played Dark Souls 1, that is not the Moonlight Greatsword. That is the Blue Moon Greatsword. It is like the Moonlight Greatsword, only it has no special power. So there's lore attached to that you can look up on the internet if you feel like doing so. You can make the Moonlight Greatsword in this game. However, to do so, you need you have to be a New Game Plus, and you have to kill one of the bosses, the Duke's Dear Freya, a big spider boss. You have to kill her, and then you'll get a soul that you use to make a boss weapon. Go over here and grab this coin. So this rusted coin temporarily boosts luck, which means you're more likely to get drops from enemies. I'm gonna take off her helmet because I like the hair. Yay! Hee hee hee! And look at how huge the hitboxes are. So you see how big, how far that was up before I could even roll underneath it. So be careful of that. That's my biggest complaint with this game, is the hitboxes seem like they're really large. So you think that you're far enough to dodge. They didn't even hit you. You know, they were 2 feet away from you, yet you still got hit. So you can get one of these two ways. You can go back up this way and go around. I like to jump from here to there because I'm right here. Why not?